What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. This time we're going to be analysing the home match against Southampton in the Premier League. Yes, we played them in midweek in the Carabao Cup. This time in the Premier League, lots of talking points. A nitty-gritty game, this one that, yeah, late drama. Lots to talk about, but first, before we do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you're interested in enjoying the content, make sure you help support my channel by subscribing, pressing that red button, pressing the bell, and putting your push notifications on. If you are interested, make sure you go and check out my social media links, my Twitter and Instagram, which you can find in description below and popping up on screen. If you want to go and search for me and follow me on there, that'd be much appreciated. Make sure you leave a thumbs up if you enjoy this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So we're going to crack on with this match reaction, analysis, review, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. First, we'll start with the teams. Lots of changes from Tuesday. Only 3 players keeping their place in this team. Angelino, who seemed to have picked up some kind of hamstring injury, wasn't injured and ended up starting this game, so I presume that Mendy's probably going to be starting in midweek in the Champions League and against Liverpool next weekend. Sergio Aguero started up top 2 along with Bernardo Silva, which saw David Silva, Ilkay Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne in the middle, and John Stones and Fernandinho starting at the back for Southampton. Angus Gunn has now lost his Premier League place, with McCarthy taking his place instead. He ended up having a very good game in midweek and ended up having another good game, so probably keeping his place in the team for the foreseeable future at the very least. Nathan Redmond back in the squad for them. Ings up top. Ward-Prowse, Romeu starting. We saw Højbjerg as captain, and also Stevens starting and keeping his place after scoring against us. I was expecting Southampton to target set pieces in this game. City went with the philosophy, if we don't concede set pieces, then there's not too much of a danger, too much of a threat there. So, yeah, but problems came from elsewhere. Sticky problems that we've had majority in the Premier League this season. Think of Norwich, think of Wolves. First half, 20 minutes in, Ward-Prowse capitalising on an Ederson spill for 1-0. Decent read by Ward-Prowse. Decent finish, good reading of play, like, got to be praised there. Like, he read the situation quicker than any of the City defenders and ended up tucking home and scoring the goal and expecting that there might be a mistake from Ederson. It's nice and slippy, nice and wet out there, lots of rain in Manchester, as normal. Routine save really for Ederson. It's poor. Really should have saved the shot. He'll be disappointed. We were all disappointed. But like, when City go 1-0 behind, I'm never too concerned. Only as the game develops and goes on do I get more concerned. Like, if we go 2-0 behind, I'll be end up getting towards, like we did today, into the 70th, into the 80th minute, and things aren't going our way, then yeah, there starts to be alarm bells and I start to be a bit concerned. But 20 minutes in, I wasn't too concerned at the times. But we got into half time. It was huff and puff, but no real clinical edge. That there was a little bit of the back of my mind, a little bit of doubt there that City weren't playing too well, and it was all too familiar of the Wolves game that we had at the Etihad Stadium, where we just things weren't clicking, things weren't happening. It was just all round, in a summary, poor. Lots of shots. I think it was 13 or 14 shots we had in the first half. Some contrasting stats. Some say 1 shot on target, others say none. I'm fairly sure the only shot, if we did have any on target in the first half, came from a blocked shot. Aguero, Sterling not getting involved too much. David Silva, Gundogan having good opportunities and all just getting blocked or hit off target. Really poor. Really weird that we wanted to bring Jesus on in the 45th minute. Why not bring him on in the second half? Wasn't able to bring him on, and then people were unhappy about it. Like, it's all a bit strange, really, when we got in at half time. But for Southampton, clinical, like, given an opportunity, scored the goal. Not much more you can ask. Defended and blocked really well. Defended deep very well. Weren't allowing Manchester City any clear-cut opportunities. I felt like City were being a little bit too predictable, taking a shot when they was expecting them. And City players never heard of dummying or just twisting and turning. Like, we're normally very good at that. But for today, it weren't really there. Like, we go 3-4 games where we do it, then we get that one sticky game where it doesn't happen. And twice this season we've come unstuck. Very important today that we have not come unstuck. Hopefully, lessons learned, and it could be a bit of a momentum turner. But went into the second half, still poor, really poor. 70 minutes in, Kyle Walker on the right fires a real low ball, really quick. Very important, that is the pace of this ball, straight into Aguero's path. Just puts his foot on it. Any natural striker will just look to hit the ball and get it on target. He does that through McCarthy's legs into the back of the net. Keeper stands no chance. Ball just stayed in play from the ball in from Walker 2. Making it 1-1. 20 big minutes for Manchester City and game on. And then 86th minute. Ball in from Angelino. Not the greatest of balls. McCarthy misjudges it. Instead, I think he's like come to catch it or palm it away. The ball's just a bit beyond him, so he gets fingertips onto him and just parries it right into the path. And there's Walker, of all the players, Kyle Walker, getting himself an assist and a goal, smashing it home. Fantastic. Goes and slides away. Where's this reference there for anyone? Slide away. Goes and slides away right in front of the corner post. I think it was where Company did his slide as well, when we ended up scoring past Leicester last season, which was a huge momentum turner right towards the end of last season. Maybe we had a little bit of a momentum turner a lot earlier in the season. I don't know. I'm ecstatic. Get in. Full time. 2-1. Manchester City. Huge, huge win. Can't begin to explain how big of a win this could be for Manchester City come the end of the season. I'll tell you right now, if this was before the last international break today, we dropped points. We looked not clueless, but things just weren't ticking. Think to the Wolves game. Opportunities came about for Wolves because things weren't ticking. Learnt lessons. Like, we learnt lessons from the last international break to come in and be a lot stronger, a lot more switched on. We did that after this international break, so lessons learnt. Hopefully we can continue. It's important to learn lessons, but it's just as important to learn them lessons and then keep them at that standard that you want them to be at. When we're not playing particularly well, to come back and win, that's a sign of champions. Super from Manchester City. Like I said, could be a big momentum break here for Manchester City. Fingers crossed, that's what I'm hoping for. In terms of stats for the game, 76% possession for Manchester City, 24% possession for Southampton. I'm surprised Southampton's stats are so high. I mean, maybe that came from the last 4 or 5 minutes when they decided to turn up and do something, but for the majority of the game, they barely got in City's half. Like, didn't really make anything happen. They had 3 shots, 3 on target, coming back with 1 goal. That's decent, but that 1 goal was a shot on target, which was then rebounded and put into. There's the two shots of their 3 shots that they had came from 1 attack, which led to a goal. Like I said, Edison will be disappointed. 26 shots from City, 26, 4 on target. That's really poor, but other than 4 on target, 2 of them have gone in the back of the net, which is actually a good turnover. What they need to work on is when teams are going to sit deep, and more teams now will be feeling like sitting deep might be a way of dealing with Manchester City. It's important that if teams are going to do that, we don't let them go ahead, and if they are going to go ahead, don't give it to them as cheap as what we did today, because it just makes life that much more difficult, and that's where the problems came from with Southampton going ahead. That stays at 0-0. It'd still be a problem, so it's something that we need to really work on, that teams are just going to sit back. We need to find ways, instead of just crossing and putting balls into the box and hoping low balls and things will start to work. We need to really break them down. Where's the Crystal Palace away? Then balls over the top, little dinks over, little chips over, keeping things unpredictable, being clinical and just hurting our oppositions when they present opportunities. That's where we need to be at, and today we weren't there, but we have picked up the 3 points. Lots of lessons to be learned. 225 passes from Southampton, 62% pass completion rate. They spent most of the game hoofing the ball up, so that's why their one was so low. But do you blame them? Because I don't. 641 passes, 88% pass completion rate. Okay. So it's good, but it's Man City standards. Like, I've seen better. So yeah, 4 clear-cut chances created for Manchester City. 2 goals to show for it, so we're looking to create more and be more dominant and having more shots and testing the keeper more. That's where we need to be at, and that is something for us to improve on going into the Atalanta away match, because we know that they like to create opportunities. So more space for us, nice big pitch, the San Siro pitch. Hopefully we can create more opportunities there and put the ball in the back of that net. 62 crosses put in by City, connecting with 13. That's 21% completed. 3 crosses put in from Southampton, connecting with 1 at 33% completion rate. So, you know, a lot more dominating. I like this defensive stats. More tackles from Southampton, more interceptions. My favourite's the blocks. No blocks from Man City, but 13 blocks from Southampton. 76 clearances from Southampton compared with just 5 of Manchester City's, and headed clearances. 4 of them clearances, and the 5 are headed by Manchester City, whereas it's 29 from Southampton. Like, balls are just going into the box. I mean, I'm going to say it, we've got a team of midgets. Our players aren't very tall at all. The big, strong, physical players that Southampton's got at the back putting crosses in isn't going to work unless them crosses are pinpoint accurate. Today they weren't, and it just weren't working. So while we continue to do that, blows my mind. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. Aerial duels, Southampton, as you'd expect, a little bit more dominating than what Manchester City were. Now, conclusion. Southampton defended for the lives. Probably a little bit unlucky today, broken late on. They'll be really disappointed and downhearted, but they shouldn't be because they put up a good performance. Like, they lost 9-0 in their last home game in the Premier League. What are you going to expect for them to do? They played City in the Carabao Cup and lost at the Etihad Stadium 3-1 after being 3-0 behind 2. Like, they picked up a little bit of momentum and turned that into this game. So, fair credit for them to do that. Then defended really well, just fell unlucky. They need to just keep their heads held high, take all the positives from the game and move on in the next game. That's going into the just before the international break, trying to break down and get some positive results, and then moving on after the international break, the big like end of November and December rush. That's where things start to happen in the season. That's where titles are decided. That's where you start to see who's relegation candidates and who's not and what's happening. So yeah, big couple of months coming up for Southampton. They play like they did today, then honestly it's better than losing 9-0, trust me. For Man City, Walker, my JSGC man of the match. Really poor from us today though, like the Wolves game, like the Norwich game. Nitty gritty, horrible, but winning 3 points is 3 points at the end of the day, and like I said before, it is what champions do. Problem we got though, Liverpool did what champions do too. They didn't play very well today, spent majority of the game 1-0 behind against Aston Villa. Later, the Manchester City ended up finding an equaliser, and then in the 94th minute, from a cross, from a corner I think it was, ends up just flicking off Mane's head. Decent header to be fair. Aston Villa will be incredibly disappointed, and even more disappointed than what Southampton are. They'll be heartbroken by what's happened, but a decent 3 points nonetheless for Liverpool, away from home too against a tricky team like Aston Villa. It's a blow to us, because it's a big momentum game for Liverpool like we've had, but we're playing Liverpool next weekend at Anfield, and that to me is where things start to get interesting. Are we going to go 9 points behind? Are we going to go 3 points behind if we can end the Anfield curse and win? I do not know. We have Champions League midweek beforehand, so we need to try and win that game just so we can keep the momentum going and this winning feeling, because I feel like that's going to be important before we start looking too far ahead and get into the Anfield game. But that is ultimately what's probably on everyone's mind. We've got a game before that, so start thinking about that first, and honestly we'll start talking more about that Liverpool game after we've done the Champions League game. But boy, that is going to be a big game at Anfield next weekend on Sunday against them. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Just early prediction out there from me. Like, you offer me a 0-0 or a 1-1 at Anfield right now, I'll take it on the pure basis that 4 points we picked up from Liverpool last season to Liverpool's 1. That was influential in us winning the Premier League, and I feel like if there's a team that's going to stop Liverpool, you know it's going to be Manchester City, and if we can take points off them on their own patch, that's big. That's all I'm going to say. But what a statement it'd be if we went to Liverpool's patch next week, not only pick up a point, pick up 3, beat them, end that unbeaten run, the streak that they've got going. I think it's like 27, 28 games, something like that, unbeaten. And they love winning game after game after game. They love their Anfield home record. And they're always bragging about beating Manchester City. They'll be well up for it. We'll be well up for it. I feel like our only option here is just to attack them and hopefully score more goals than them, because, to be honest, I'm scared about our defence going up against Liverpool's attack. But if they're off, having an off day, like today, who knows? They'll be thinking if City have an off day, so who knows? Who knows? So there we go, that's been the video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, put your push notifications on. You want to check out my social media links, Twitter and Instagram, in description below. Just go and click on the links and go and follow me on there if you so wish, or you can just search for me and go and follow me on there. My email for any business enquiries or any general enquiries or anything like that, or any sponsorships or any videos, anything like that, then you find my email, which is in description below, and I'll see you all again for the next video. Really happy, won the game, picked up 3 points. England might have lost disappointingly in the Rugby World Cup final today, but at least we've got something for the saving grace. Otherwise this could have been a horrendous day for me. It isn't. So I'll see you all again for the next video. So it's been JSGC. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. Ciao for now.